Hello, welcome to Clipboard Hacks. I recently wrote an article about how I work. I do this every now and then, every couple of years, and I wrote this article here on my webpage, The Way I Work in 2025, where I go through my setup, and I thought about it that, well, it would be cool to actually show and demo some of this as well. So here I am. I will go through this article. You can check it out on my website, but here is the visual. Um, so I am a big fan of ThinkPads. I've been using ThinkPad X1 Carbon series for 10 years now. Yeah, it's the rock I stand on. I love it to bits. It has an i7 processor, 32 gigs of RAM. I need that. I program Java and run a lot of virtual machines and containers, and it needs to be fast, and it is. An interesting thing though is that I have only one external screen. I have this one here, and Dell Ultra Sharp 25-inch. This one, it's nice. It's not the best, right? I don't do photo editing. I just do programming. I just need pixels, so with some color in Emacs and a terminal. So this is more than good enough for me. And what I find interesting myself is that I used to have several external monitors, at least two external monitors, and then maybe, flip one to be vertical and the other horizontal and stuff. And then I got a really wide screen, Galaxy something, or I can't remember what it was called. It was huge. It took my entire desk, and it had a curved screen, and it was so cool. It looked awesome. Thing was, though, that I didn't really appreciate it after a while. And I got a new computer, and there was something wrong with my I don't know, Linux driver or something. It didn't work, and then I just set it to use my old external monitor. And after a couple of days, I realized I actually quite enjoyed just having this one external monitor. And so this is also what I have here at home. When I work from my home office, I only have one external screen, and it brings a certain peace of mind. So I'm running with that. These days I'm a one monitor guy. Keyboard is massively important, of course. At work, I use a Ducky One Skyline series. It has, let's see if it loads. Yeah, this one. I find it has a nice balance of being fast to type on, and being fairly compact. But it does have arrow keys. I really like arrow keys, and when I'm in a debugger like IntelliJ, it's really nice to have the F function keys. At home, I have my absolute favorite, all-time favorite, which is a Happy Hacking keyboard. This one here, and this one it's awesome. It's the best thing I have ever typed on, and I will never leave it. But it doesn't have function keys, and you need to have a shortcut combination to get the function keys. And when you're, hitting F7, 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 F8, F9, Shift F8, that's, it's a stretch. And of course I can remap it, and maybe I do that, but still the F keys are sometimes really, really nice. And this I get with this Ducky One here. So I appreciate that. And for music, for a couple of years now, I've been using this Sony wireless headphone, and it has noise cancelling. I really appreciate that. It's not. I'm sure there are a lot better noise cancelling, and this has also been upgraded and got new models and stuff. But it's good enough for the office space. I feel, if there's construction work outside, I don't hear that. And if people are talking in the office, I definitely don't hear that. And that's all I need, really. And then I listen to music on it, and also for the meetings. The operating system, I have been using Arch Linux for a couple of years now. I used to be a Debian user, and I still love Debian, and I run Debian on all my servers. But on my desktop, I found that, Debian is a bit old, and I have to pull in from testing or unstable, and then eventually just everything becomes testing, because I really like the stable distribution, really. And then I tried various things like running, there are app images. I like them the best, but of course there are snaps and there's flatpaks to get newer software. Or I used the solution I liked the best was to run like stay containers and then have like more modern application there, but still was, it was a bit hacky. And with Arch Linux, what I love is that I have one repository. Well, I have two. I have the official and I have the AUR. And then I have one command. I only have one command to operate them all. Only on this one. And it deals with both the official ones and as well as the AUR packages. So I can just do, let's say if I have a terminal here, terminal. Okay. I just do, query, and that will run pacman capital SYU and upgrade the entire system, and then it will go on and upgrade the AUR packages as well. And yeah, I'm surprised at how stable it is. I've been running Arch on my primary work machine for about 4 years, and I'm doing this upgrade of all my packages. Absolutely everything is upgraded every day, and it practically never breaks. I can't remember it breaking even once. I do have a package installed that takes care of upgrading the kernel. So if I upgrade the kernel, by default, you will get a problem because the old modules are not there anymore because you just replaced them. So I have a thing that keeps the old ones and then it eventually reaps them. And with that, I have a completely stable setup for several years now. Yeah, suspender RAM, wireless, everything that used to be a pain on Linux just works. Setting up Arch Linux with full disk encryption is a lot more involved than a more user-friendly distro like Ubuntu, where you just click a button. But still, it's really rewarding once you've done that. You have learned a lot of new things, and then it just works, and then you just leave it be. So yeah, that's why I'm running Arch Linux with full disk encryption, and then I have a lot of enterprise things like Microsoft Defender running. So by the way, Microsoft Defender does work on Arch Linux, even though it's not officially supported on that platform. Yes, desktop environment. I use i3. So I have, by default, you have Alt and a number to switch between the workspaces. And I used to have, I came from a window maker background and Fluxbox after that. And there I had Control Shift and then a number. But so Alt number was a bit getting used to, but it's faster. And now, yeah, come to really appreciate it. I have 10 workspaces. So the way I think, I have my primary coding environment, Emacs, on workspace 1. That's this one where we started off. And then on workspace 2, where we are now, it's my primary web browser. And then workspace 3 are my terminals. I use Kitty. Let's see, Kitty terminal. This one, I have tried them all, at least many terminals. I find this one the best. I recommend you checking it out if you haven't. It can do all the basic things. It has 4-byte UTF-8 support. It is accelerated through the GPU. It has nice things you can easily type in fancy Unicode characters. It can even display. Maybe I can show you that after. You can display images in the terminal, which is completely wild. It even does that on a remote server. Yeah, it can do everything you need. But also importantly, it's easy to get the easy things working. Yeah, clickable links in the terminal, it just works. It's great. Yeah, Workspace 4. That's my secondary coding environment. So I do a lot of Java development, and I use Emacs for most of that. And these days I use eglot, which allows me to use the same LSP server that, for instance, Visual Studio Code is using. And so I get all the fancy code completion and code suggestions and documentation lookup and all that good stuff. But every now and then I do want a more user-friendly coding environment, especially it's these days it's only for the debugger. The debugger in Emacs is for Java. It's it's okay, but the one in IntelliJ is just so much better, and I've just stopped fiddling about with Emacs for debugger, and I just switched to IDEA. Don't tell anyone. So that's on Workspace 4. Then I have a couple. 5 is, yeah, whatever. And number 6 used to be my secondary web browser. These days, Firefox has gotten so good. I rarely need to use Chrome for anything, but if I do use Chrome, I bound it to Workspace 6. So I know that whenever... This is also the nice thing of binding, so you can configure i3 or to whenever you open a certain application, it will always open on a dedicated workspace. So for instance, Emacs, there's no way for me to open Emacs on anything but Workspace 1. I can blindly open Emacs on Workspace 9 and it will open and it will actually appear on Workspace 1. And I find that like it brings a certain peace of mind that I don't have to think. If I need to go to my terminal, I hit Alt-3. I will definitely go to the terminal. If I want to go to my browser, I hit Alt-2. There's no other place where my browser will be. Yeah, then Workspace, yeah, 7 personal browser for personal things, 8 snapshot manager and VPN, and then music and song control. For music, I use, let me show you that. Let's see, did I have Kitty? Did I close it again? Okay, I'll open Kitty again. So what I do for the music is I just do this really. This is what I need at work. So I do MPV, it's a command line client this, and then shuffle, just shuffle absolutely everything. I don't want display of graphics for the cover. I don't really care about that one. I just want to code, you know, only work. And you set up an inter-process communication server, IPC, which gives you a socket, and then you can attach then in your desktop environment, you can have shortcuts which control your audio player. So through that, I can have shortcuts to pause and resume and skip my music stream, and then I just do my music collection. So I'll get back to that in a moment, but this is my audio player at work. Okay. Yeah, I use something called Green Clip, and not everyone uses a Clipboard Manager, but I find it they're so good. So they allow you to copy more than one piece of text or one image. They allow you to copy many things, and then you can select the things after. That's super useful, and once you get used to that, you will never go back. You know. So for instance, simple example, I open a Jira issue which has a bug description and it has a title and say a description. I want to copy both of those things, and I would do that. I would just copy them like normal, and then when I go into my another context and I want to paste that, I can just select. As interface for the Clipboard Manager and for navigating to Windows, I use rofi. And you can use it for a lot of things. So I use it for the window list. So if I open my window list, I get this one that you see here. You can also, and it has fuzzy types, right? So you can just type a little bit like WI, and then it goes to Wikipedia, and you hit enter, and you're there. And here you can see also it lists the workspace number. It also has a run dialog. I use that instead of the application run dialog because then the general run dialog allows me to run shell scripts. So here I have shell scripts that I have, and of course it has history. So you just, if you have typed this really long command like this one, i3 message move workspace to output right. If you just type that once, you have it in history, and then it's really quick. And this allows you to reduce the number of desktop shortcuts. I used to have shortcuts for everything, right? But if you don't use it all the time, maybe you don't, I don't know. I'm just getting tired of adding more shortcuts to my desktop setup. So, and also I'm an Emacs user. I already have hundreds of setups memorized. So in this one, this allows me to mitigate that by just it remembering previous commands. really, really nice. And this also I use for my password manager. I use the password store, the pass command, and this gives me, fuzzy search typing of it. What else? I use pcom. It gives me translucency. I I do that. I use the old terminals, the exit terminals like xclock and xload, and I want them to be transparent. So let me show you how that works. Let's say here I need to make the windows floating, I think, and I can open xload and I can open xclock. Let's see. Where did they go? Maybe they went on the other screen. Let's have. Here we go. Here I have xclock, and as you can see, it's translucent, which makes it look a lot nicer. This xclock here is a really, really old application, but with thanks to pcom, or pycom, however you say that, thanks to this one, you get all this, rounded corners, translucency. It's great, and sometimes even useful. You can see what's going on behind it. If you had here, let's say, up the top here, and I have this one in the foreground, you can still see what's beneath it, and I just find that cool. And every so often, once a year, it's actually useful as well. Yeah, okay. Onwards. Screenshotting tool. I've tried a lot of tools, and I must say Ksnip, that's the best. Ksnip, check it out if you haven't. It's available for several platforms, not only Linux, but of course it's Qt-based. I think it runs on macOS and Windows. Most of the features you will get if you are running on Linux, maybe, but Windows is pretty well covered in macOS as well. Check it out. It's awesome, and the annotation tools alone are just so much easier to use, faster to use, stable. I find it better than all the others I have tried, and I tried a good few. But this may change in the future, of course, but this is my recommendation. So my coding environment, of course, that's Emacs. I run Emacs, let's say, which one is it? Emacs 31? Yeah. Emacs 31, and I have native compilation, and I try to use Sweet Theme everywhere. And the font is from Adobe Source Code Pro. And I have tweaked my .emacs for many years now. I have the optimal setup right now, for sure. And I only have 756 lines, so it's a highly optimized configuration. Oh, well, that's enough for that's for another video to go through that one. So web browser. I like Firefox. I always rated for Firefox. I have tried others. I have Chrome, I have Vivaldi, but Firefox is my default these days. I find it I've maybe I'm getting old. I start to appreciate having a toolbar, a bookmark bar with bookmarks, and that's stable. That it stays there the whole time. I used to hate that. I used to have away with all the toolbars, all the scroll bars, everything. But now I do appreciate that I can just click on something and go there. So I actually do use the mouse for that. In the browser, I use the mouse a lot. I do appreciate the toolbar for bookmarks, and I also appreciate pinning a few websites. And one of the nice features of that is that then they're started automatically when I start out the browser. But this setup I change every now and then. But the toolbar is definitely new for me, the bookmark toolbar. One, and then I have, oh yeah, I don't know if you noticed, but I have customized this one here to add a screenshotting tool. So this is Firefox's built-in screenshot tool, which is great. But sometimes it hinges on the right click. And sometimes you don't have the right click option because the website has stolen the right click. So therefore I have it there. So, even if you have grabbed the right click, I can still screenshot you. Yep. Again, the sweet theme. Thank you so much, Oliver Lara. Lots of great plugins out there. I use a couple. I use language tool for grammar and spell checking. I use uBlock Origin, and I use, what else do I use? Privacy Badger. Yeah, that's it. So I don't use that many plugins. Do take care with the plugins and check, because they basically have access to everything you do in the browser, and you don't want to pass that information out to other people that you don't trust. And so do vet your plugins with care. I do have a start of the day script. I have one which is called at home and one which is called at work. They both call out to the same at daily script, and they do a number of things. So starts up the SSH agents, they sync my documents and notes, they update the entire operating system, so they run Paru, Pacman, or Aket when I was on Debian. So I do that every day. I update my entire operating system every day, and this is the best way to stay secure. Run as few processes as possible and upgrade your computer every single day, and upgrade the firmware as well. And then you had done your due diligence for then of course you can add layers of security like great passwords and firewalls and all of that you should also care about, of course. But this is a really nice and easy way to stay up to date, and then of course you get updated software as well, especially if you're on Arch. Yes, a great backup. I'll automate that, of course. I try to version control as much as possible, but some things are not really doesn't work that well to version control, or just a pure backup is better. Fine, like my music collection, I wouldn't put that into version control. Then I create a start page, and it. Let me show you that. Let's see here. So I have a shell command called skybird dash, and that creates the dashboard, and it lists all the commits for the last 3 days in all my source code repositories. And this is great for the stand-up. So this here is input to the stand-up meeting that I have with my team every day, and I can quickly see what I've actually been doing and give them accurate status updates. Then I have user-friendly, which was a comic when I was a student and a young professional. I still read dailies from that. Of course, it's not written anymore, but there's an archive available, and I pull down something corresponding to the current date, just from 1998. And then, yeah, another comic that I enjoy. Right, so you can try it too. It's easy to customize as well. It's called Skybird Dash. You can check it out if you want. Then I read news. I'm a big fan of RSS Saturn feeds, and this is where I get my news in addition to Mastodon. You can check out which feeds I subscribe to. And I use Emacs for reading them, so I can show you how that works. Of course, any RSS reader will do, but I find a text-based one, and Emacs, of course, is awesome. It's really fast to read it, right? I can run through them like that, and it's easy to check copy and paste things, and of course, if I want to hit the link, I can just hit enter and I go to the actual post. And what I find then is it makes it easy to stay on top of techniques that I care about. So I try to get as much as possible of the things that I care about into the RSS feed here, but not more. I don't want. I'm also cautious of not adding more noise to it, because then I don't read it, and then I would skim it as fast as I just did here to show you how the navigation worked. I don't want it to be like that, because in the end, then I will not actually read it. So I try to keep the number of feeds down to a kind of minimum. So then, as I told you earlier, I play music and I shuffle just through the entire collection like that. And then I have a couple of shortcuts to play, pause, and jump. And yeah, that's it. that was a run through of my entire setup. The configuration files for everything can be found in, let's see, do I have a link here? I can show you. It's in my little friends GitLab. Let's see. Here we go. Here's my repository with all my settings files. So here we have the Silver Searcher, ALSA, Arch, ASPEL, Debian, DOSBox, Hunbox, i3. Here you can find my i3 configuration and so on. And yeah, that's it. If you wonder about everything, just do drop me an email. You can also find me on, what's the address for that one? It's on my website, let's say. Pachyderm, Mastodon. Yeah, I enjoy Mastodon. Yeah, you may check me out there if you want. Thanks for watching. I will see you around another time.